This episode is sponsored by Pet Boys.
It's not. It's warm in here.
So we're here in the G37 and there's actually 0 oxygen currently in the cabin.
You can chew the air in here. It's so humid.
So recapping back on the previous time I worked on my E30, when we did the entire master brake cylinder, got the lines, and then I exploded the coolant hose. It was never shot and never put in an episode, but I actually have a full set of CATuned silicone hoses for my E30. And way back when, like maybe 1.5, 2 years ago, we put in only the accessible coolant hoses because we didn't feel like getting super into it at the time. So today we're going to go back and we're gonna put the rest of the hoses on, because I'm pretty sure one of the hoses that blew up is one of the hoses that I have a replacement for. If we have time, we'll put the air horn in because we already removed the windshield washer bottle to actually put that in.
But first, and most importantly,
we need to get food.
yes.
So the hoses we're gonna get to, sweating buckets out here.
It's so hot.
Is this one right here, and then this guy down here. You could probably get that one off just fine by taking the airbox off, but and honestly we could probably get this one on without having to do this, but we're gonna take the hood off and we're gonna take the radiator out. So we're gonna unhook all that.
You might have to take the hood off to take the radiator out because that's very in the way.
Yeah.
It's just going to make our life easier.
If we take the hood off, but I don't know how to get this fucking arm off here,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna have to look this up.
What do you think the odds are that Chris is going to put that back on when he puts the hood back on? The safety cable.
0.
Comment below.
It's already 0, I'll tell you right now.
The results are in.
0.
So we got the hood off.
Yeah, we'll replace this hose, take the airbox off, we'll replace that.
Wait, why are we
hose
taking the radiator out?
just to get to this hose easier.
I think you can snake around it.
But there's down here, that one's gonna be hard to get to. It's like all the way underneath there. We might be able to get it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Is it this one here?
This hose. Underneath. Goes all the way down underneath.
This hose? Oh, it's got trim
And this
over.
hose right here, that goes all the way down here. It's probably just gonna be easier if we take it off.
Yeah, I just really don't want to. So I didn't know it was going to be 96 degrees today.
Alright,
So now I'm wearing women's shorts. Steven's fashion time. Look at that.
So yeah, I pulled the airbox out.
What'd you do?
I pulled the airbox out. It was really, literally just held on by that one clamp and just the clip for like the mouth. I actually bought a new one of these already, but you can see that there's a hole in here, there's a hole here, there's literally just holes everywhere in this boot. So yeah, the reason I took this off is just so I can get to this hose all the way down here, just to make it a little bit easier. Brand new hose, this will drop in here. I got a brand new hose for this, like I said before, that I'll drop in there, so.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. There's a little bracket here holding the hose in, so it's just gonna take that out, but I don't know, it might not even, I mean I definitely need to, but
Yeah.
this is already loose, like I can't loosen it anymore. See what I mean?
Hold the, put a finger on it, yeah. You're not going to be able to see it now, but, like, look at that beard. You have
Just dripping sweat. Single ladies.
I'm going to check the weather. I
How
want
the
to
fuck
see,
am I gonna get this on?
how hot is it today? Oh, it's supposed to rain later.
Thank God.
8 p.m. thunderstorms until all tomorrow.
The clamp is flipped.
What?
They flipped the clamp, so the flathead is the part where the flathead is facing down.
Oh yeah, they probably did do that from under the car.
And
Yeah,
this-
now it's loose.
this-
You can try to just shove it out of the
This
way.
bracket's like really not even doing anything. This is just weight reduction at this point. I mean, it really is doing something.
No, but those are rubber, so they have more flex. The ones you have are silicone. These hold their shape a lot better, so you actually might not need that bracket. My hair all frizzy.
I don't know, I gotta get my beard. You're not gonna get it with the screwdriver, you're gonna have to stick a socket down there.
You might be right. Yeah, you have the socket. If you have hose clamps that are this size, we can just cut the hose so it's out of the way, and then take some tin snips or something, and just cut this clamp off.
Well, I
and
might.
cut the hose off.
Here, I have.
And just put a new clamp on.
Here, you wanna see if they're in there?
Oh, actually, yeah.
Let's try to save it if we can.
Alright.
But if you really can get it, well,
I don't think you're even going to be able to get a tool down there onto it.
we'll be able to get a screwdriver onto it
The subframe's in the way.
when we flip the clamp though. we're gonna reverse the clamp so it's facing up.
Do you have a 6mm socket or 8mm socket?
Let me check. Yeah, right here. All right, so we just used a 6mm socket or an 8mm socket.
8mm.
Steve used his really tiny arms and
Right, they're
flexible
not
arms.
that tiny. They're just not meaty sausage fingers like you.
So
normal size hands.
Yeah, I guess whoever put the hose in, put the clamp on when they were underneath the car rather than in the engine bay. But we're gonna put it back in through the.
on the ground when I take this off.
Let's get some cardboard.
That might be enough. Nope, nope. We're gonna need a bucket.
A bucket? So we got the hose off my radiator. We didn't drain the radiator or anything like that. We just let coolant flow everywhere.
We just did drain the radiator. That's how you do it.
Yeah, we drained the radiator onto my dad's garage floor.
I'm gonna replace just the thermostat because I actually think the thermostat's broken. I'll still need to drive this for a little bit. I have that part over at Pep Boys. I'm gonna go pick it up, and I'll put it all back together, fill it with coolant, and hopefully it doesn't explode again. So.
This episode is sponsored by Pet Boys.
It's not.
Pep Boys Auto. Pep Boys Auto in New Jersey. We didn't leave the state to go to Pep Boys. Got a new thermostat. It's nice and shiny. And a gasket for it. So, we're good. We're going to Kohl's to get bathing suits because it's fucking 101 degrees out. With the job well done, if we succeed. If we succeed, which we probably won't. We'll celebrate with a swim. We kind of need coolant. Oh. You wanna run back in and get coolant? Let's go.
Okay, so we're just leaving Pet Boys now for the first time.
Now we're gonna go to Kohl's and get some bathing suits or swim trunks if you're a fucking asshole. I don't need two of them. I don't know if these are gonna fit.
I'm allergic to sunlight.
So the hose that we thought, the hose that exploded, that we were pressing on when it started leaking was this one. We found the crack. It's right here. See that I can get my finger through it right here.
So that was cracked.
The replacement hose for this guy is this guy. Rubber silicone. Let's try to get the thermostat housing off. Do all these other hoses have to come off of this?
So these 3 bolts should come off. This piece should come off. And then inside there is the thermostat that just comes out.
To that side. Is that a problem?
No, it's fine. You just need to separate them so you can get the thermostat out. When you get it open, make sure you take note of the orientation. Because there's 2 sides of the thermostat, and the new one might not have a marking on it of which direction goes where. Usually it has an up marking, and yours is side to side. So I don't know which side is supposed to be up. I'd say it's probably not the source of the overheating. I think just leaking coolant and then not having enough coolant in is the main reason. I'm pretty sure this is a heater port line back here, and this feels kind of long. So I think, yeah, because this keeps going all the way to the thermostat, the bottom of the thermostat. Let me see that real quick. This goes like here.
Yeah, hell no.
So that goes all into there.
I'm just gonna hope that one's good.
There's also some coolant lines. I believe these are coolant lines that go into the throttle body. I don't know what those are for, to be honest with you.
Coolant delete?
No.
Alright, well let's try to get the housing off then. Don't show my belly.
You lift your shirt up a lot. It's kind of hard to cut around that.
I'd like deliberately do that. So don't put that in. Did you clean out the crease in here?
A little bit, yeah.
Or so we can just drop this in here. Guessing we should press the O-ring in first, huh? This probably won't. Will this sit in here?
It's probably not. You're probably gonna have to put it in the outer housing.
Is that the way this one was on?
Yeah, it just squeezes it on when you put the other side of it on. So
I gotcha.
I would just place it in that,
So,
and then put the whole thing in. There you go. And then if you can get a bolt started so it'll sit. Did you find the torque specs for these?
no, I still gotta look. Some guy asked about the torque specs, and then everyone just started arguing in the thread on the forum. I'm like, all right, cool.
I'm gonna try to find the torque specs for this.
I think more than what they're at is what we're looking for. That's probably good.
76 inch-pounds.
Okay, so just hand tight.
So yeah, he's like just tighten until they feel good. That's what I do.
This is probably aluminum, so you don't want to torque them down much. And they're small bolts.
I almost just took an L there. That's tight.
So number 1 hose is on. It's not actually called number 1 hose,
You
but
might
the first
actually
hose.
have to do this one as well. I need to keep making you do stuff.
This one goes on here,
And then where?
and then down and underneath.
So this hose runs from the thermostat housing over to the heater core. This one is, if you look at the comparison between these two, this one is the old one. This fit pretty much perfectly. And this is the new one. So you can see how much of a difference there is. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to cut this one. Instead of cutting it exactly at the line, I'm going to cut it up a little bit and just try to make it fit like that.
I think we need that, and this goes, because back here there's a T on this, right?
Yeah.
We said? I think this T is something someone else added. This came up and then we just went into this. And then it goes into this T and then into the heater core. So that one may be right.
It goes
And actually goes all the way to the firewall.
So what's
But
that other T part? What's that other hose?
I don't know, this
going
goes
off the bottom?
this goes down and then under the motor.
I don't think we should risk it. We should just.
I don't think we should change it, but that's probably why they don't fit.
Probably. I don't know if this is the right tool for this, but I'm
It'll
sure
work.
it's gonna cut. So.
No, it cut it. So we get that one, and then we're gonna put this one on as well that goes over here. And then we did another one somewhere. And then we'll be done. I'm gonna feel this in the morning.
So we put all the hoses back on, which is good. Swap some new hoses over that I had. There's a hose that's connecting the heater cord near the firewall. Goes underneath the intake manifold and then comes back up and connects up into the thermostat housing. But we can't get the other one back on, the new one back onto the thermostat housing.
This one has kind of a flare on it, I guess, from putting it on, but it's rubber, so it'll flex easier. So this one probably was just pushed on because it's rubber, and now it's just kept that shape. The silicone ones don't
Actually,
want to flex
on
as
the
much.
physical thermostat housing, there's a little bump. He was able to get it over, almost over the bump, and we clamped it around there. I gave it a little tug, and it seems to be holding. We got some water over there to the right, some coolant to Steve's left. We're gonna mix them up 50-50. We're gonna fill it up, make sure all the air's out, give it for a drive, see what happens.
I'm very dirty. So we filled this up with water, so there's a half gallon here, half gallon here. Now we're gonna fill up the rest of this half gallon with coolant, and we'll have 50-50 mix.
Am I disabled? Just poke a hole in my nose, but I like getting it off. That's the thing.
Smells like fucking lemonade.
Drink some. All right, stop. Cap this. Yeah, a little shake. That's good. I don't know how this cooling system exactly works, but this is your fill cap because on here it says do not open when hot. So I'm assuming this is your fill cap because you don't have one on the radiator. And if you just have an overflow tank, it's not going to say that on it. It's just going to, you just pop it open. So I'm going to say fill this up. I think it's draining out of that lower hose into the rest of the system. I'm going to crack the breather valve as well.
Probably not gonna fit.
No, it doesn't fit. Ocho?
Where's the small little one that you have? Oh, it's not on it.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm supposed to open this entirely. Like, take it off or just crack it loose. I don't remember what the book said. I'm gonna take it off. Yeah, I can see. Oh, wait, stop.
Where's that coming out of?
The back.
Yeah, that's a problem. Oh yeah, because you totally missed one side here when you clamped it down. It's like not even clamped down on that side. Look at
No. Because if you look, the hose is kinking because it's bigger than what it's going around. The inner diameter of the hose is like this big, and the T-valve's only like this big, so the hose is like kinking up as it goes around it.
And we already cut that hose.
This clamp was just bad. This clamp was skipping on these, so I think this clamp just couldn't tighten down anymore. Now it looks a little better down here. Can you take the light? So now it's not popping up anymore. It feels a lot tighter. So we're gonna hope that stays. Without pouring it all over the place. This isn't leaking anymore though.
This height it's gonna go here.
I think it was just that clamp that was bad. I feel like I should read the shop manual just one more time. fuck was this? Oh, here it is. No, this should come out of this, it says. Yeah, it says to fill it until coolant comes out of the bleed screw.
One more coolant in there.
It's full. This coolant should come out of this without the engine running, with it just loosened. It is slowly going down though. So we're just gonna take this off because it goes to the top of the radiator and just fill up this hose with coolant so it pours all into the radiator, and that will fill up the radiator with coolant.
Is the bleeder open?
Stop. Alright, it's coming out of the bleeder now.
Alright.
There we go. Yeah. The housing stripping. Yeah.
I remember seeing the gasket on a different side when we opened it. It was on the other side? I thought it was on the...
Let's check the footage. We put the gasket back on. We got the orientation of the thermostat right. We put the gasket on the wrong side of the thermostat. It's actually just a little rubber O-ring. So there's a slot in here that on this side that the thermostat sits into. We put the gasket in that little, it is a gasket, right? It's an O-ring, but it's a gasket. I don't know. We put it in that inset because it looked like that's where that belonged, but actually the thermostat sits in that inset, and then the O-ring goes on the other side of it. And it just seemed kind of obvious when we put it on, and it was obviously wrong. So now we're gonna do this slowly, and hopefully it's not too hot. And if so, we'll just let it cool off a little bit, we'll swap that around, and this probably will stop leaking then. But I didn't see any other leaks anywhere else, so maybe once it opens, we might see some more leaks elsewhere, but I don't think so. Sorry. We put it into the little groove here because it looks like it belongs there, but in fact it does not. That winds up seating on this side of the thermostat when it goes in, but we want it on this side, on this little lip here. So then we put it back in that way. The thermostat sits in there, and then this makes a seal, and then we can put this back on properly, and those snug up against that O-ring. And now there's a giant puddle of coolant on the floor, and then start it back up.
Nothing's leaking anymore. There was nothing really much leaking. All the hoses that had like rips and tears in it are all swapped out. The car's still running rather hot.
I don't think we fully burped it yet either.
I don't think
we still had some bubbles coming there.
The air out. But we're gonna pack it in for the night. We're gonna throw the hood back on. I'm not gonna bolt it back up. I'm gonna see if I can just wheel it on. Swap all the collars back and then go for a swim.